kids today. So desensitized by movies and television.
Welcome to the MTG podcast.
I guess we could use a little entertainment.
Where we discuss the latest in movies, TV, and games.
Aren't you a little old for video games?
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
We're your hosts, Luke, Jordan, and Joe.
Because we are the Free Amigos!
It's a podcast.
Oh. What?
Oh.
What?
How are you guys doing?
Say what?
I don't know. What?
I'm ready to go. Are you guys ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Are you guys feeling all right? It's the beginning of fall. Well, yes, yesterday.
Oh.
Yesterday was the first day of autumn.
Yes, it is.
And then it was like 90 degrees today.
No, it wasn't. It was really nice today.
No, it was 94 degrees.
Really?
Yep.
Dear Lord.
Wow. It was like 78 down here.
Why don't you guys just suck it?
Or, I mean, up here.
Florida. You're a cruel woman.
And it rained, too. Like, it was so humid and muggy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Like, in Florida, just weather is just all over the place, and you know, you can never count on it being good. Like other states, like California and even other countries, it's just like, oh, it's pretty much great here most of the time, and every now and then it rains. But anyways, I can't wait for. I love October, November, and December. They're my favorites. I love them.
Indeed.
I love like festive holidays, Halloween, and Thanksgiving and Christmas. I love it so much. So
Indeed, sir.
Expect us to get festive here on this podcast at some point.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
Not yet, Joe.
Okay.
It's quite hot in December.
Oh my gosh.
Well, definitely, maybe we should do like a caroling episode.
What?
Indeed.
1, 2, 3. We wish you. Oh my gosh. We would lose every single subscriber we have, which is maybe 3.
Florida winter, having a blast.
What is that?
What?
What is that?
Well, I'm never really good at like making my own tunes, so I usually have to like just steal other tunes and change the words.
Didn't John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John actually do a Christmas album? So maybe that was on it. Maybe they rearranged the lyrics of the Grease song.
Summer Lovin', yeah.
I doubt it. I don't know. I didn't listen to it.
11.
You never know.
Did you guys have a good week of watching things and playing things?
Yeah.
It's always a good
pretty
week.
Good week. It was a busy weekend, but
do anything fun?
I had my 3 nephews for the whole weekend. They spent the night.
Hey, the practice kids.
Yeah, and it was like I'm telling them about so much fun. They're pretty awesome.
Did you get some?
It's really awesome that like they love pretty much everything that I love: video games, superheroes, and Disney, and like. It's like the perfect mixture too, where they're also at an age where they're like, each of them kind of is really good at one or the other.
Do you feel like you're really learning things with these kids?
Yeah.
All right.
What to do.
Because I feel like isn't the big trial like when you just have the kid and he's like screaming the entire night?
Well, the big trial is when they are an infant. So like these kids, I mean, my nephews, the 3 nephews were 2 to 5. So. The youngest one, is still in diapers, but the other 2 are potty trained, of course.
This is the raising children and practicing for having kids podcast.
That should be the title of it.
That's a long and terrible title. So, Luke,
pretty sure at least 2 out of these 3 people have very little opinions on that.
Yes. Guess which ones. Luke, what have you been watching / playing this week?
We've got a short list this week. More Destiny for sure. Not nearly as much as last week. I've just been kind of busy this week.
How's Destiny been going?
Well, I've reached level 20. I think we already talked about that, and still have not reached level 21, which probably many people who play a lot would make fun of me for that.
Not me.
But I have found it difficult to move on. apparently what I read online is you need to find light armor to reach the next level. And I have found very limited light armor, so I think I'm in the wrong battles or going to the wrong Vanguard challenges or something, but I still really like it. I've heard a podcast in which they were complaining about a few things about Destiny. And I think with many other things, a lot of times I'll let myself get caught up in, maybe I should talk more directly into the microphone. I get caught up when I hear complaints and I start overthinking, I think, the things that people are complaining about. And I find it better, at least is my personal opinion, I find it better when something comes out like Destiny to not really listen to what other people are saying about it. Just play it and just see what you think, and then once you've kind of formed an opinion and it's kind of marinated and become your true opinion, then maybe listen to, some complaints or critics or people who like it, people who don't like it, whatever, to maybe then consider the things that they say. I think it kind of gives you a more full experience of the game. It's like, okay, well, that's a valid opinion. I mean, I've established my opinion now, so I'm not basing what I play and how I feel in this game based on, what you're saying. I've already kind of established my opinion. Now I'll kind of, I'll measure what you have to say. So I thought that was kind of a interesting thing.
Thing I found about a lot of people who are like really complaining about the game, which there are things to be said and definitely a lot of complaints to be had. But the thing I've noticed is they're pretty much all still playing it like pretty vigorously, and I mean, like a lot of those vigorously, a lot of those complaints that I see out there, I'm like, all right, that's a lot of them are really valid and like reasonable. But here's the thing, I'm having a lot of fun with that game, like loads of fun. Like I'm really digging that game, and so I'll keep playing week to week to week to week, and I'll let you guys know when I stop having fun, because I'm having loads and loads of fun with that game.
What level are you at, Jordan?
I'm level 14 as of right now.
Slacker?
I mean, like, maybe the game like this is like really suited for me. I mean, like, if I don't know what I would think about this game if I like played it for 5 hours a day. Like, for me, it's like there might be a day where I don't play it, and when I do, I sit down for maybe anywhere between an hour and like 3. I haven't really binged it yet, but like this last weekend I played it for like several hours, and I was like, all right, I guess I should stop just because I've been playing it for so long, which I'm able to do that. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's best suited for people like me. Like, I'm somewhere in between a hardcore gamer and like a casual player. I have a lot of other stuff. I watch tons of movies and games, so I don't know, maybe like a lot of people who are like really finding the flaws are like people who are just super sunk into it. I mean, maybe that's the case. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people out there who've been playing it like nonstop and are still like having a blast with it and still loving it, but I don't know.
The podcast I was listening to was a guy who, I can't remember his name, but he is like a CEO, editor-in-chief of some game review site, and he's been doing it for 20 plus years.
IGN or something like that, or
well, he used to work at a big magazine that was a print magazine and isn't in print anymore, but I think he has some website. But anyways, it was an interview podcast of him with another guy interviewing him, and they just kind of mentioned in passing Destiny because it's such a big topic nowadays. And his first mention was how he each week played with this other guy like in Atlanta or something, like, a good distance away from him, and how they had like a play date each week and they'd play and have fun. It was more of a social thing, and they enjoyed playing. And then it was just kind of interesting that he says something where he incorporates it into his everyday life, which to me right there is a big statement of how much you enjoy the game. And then he went into his complaints later when the guy re-asked, well, what do you think about Destiny? And he, of course, his complaint, and I, like I said, I think it's a pretty valid point, is it's repetitive. It copies a lot of elements, and he didn't feel like it brought enough originality to the plate. And, I think a little bit more of the opposite of that is actually true, but I do see what he's saying. But it's kind of like Jordan said. In the end, this is pretty much maybe not the best game, but it's one of the best games in this genre currently out for these new systems. And so there's really no other choice. It's been bought by millions and millions of people because it is a lot of fun, and it has created a community of players out there. And so you can't deny the success. There may be flaws, but what game didn't have flaws, you know? Halo, as great as it was, there were plenty of flaws. Like the first Halo, there was no true multiplayer other than, you know, the local multiplayer. So you had to go to someone's house, all that. That was something that got added on later. So,
which was pretty fun. I remember, I mean, that was pretty fun to have a Halo Link party. I mean, we used to do that all the time.
Those were the days.
yeah.
And don't you think, though, online, even though you do get to, quote unquote, play with your friends or play with people that you know or become friends with, it's taken a little bit of the social aspect out of it, right?
Yeah, in a way, like there is something to that which can never be like, it can never replicate what you get on local multiplayer and playing on a couch with a friend. But at the same time, there's also new benefits for it. Like just the thought of like playing with a stranger is actually really cool. Like I don't play a lot of online games up until now, obviously playing Destiny, and I had an interaction with someone. You know, you hear a lot about negative interactions online playing games, and they're gonna, you know, say like things about your mom and say a bunch of homophobic stuff and like call you vile names. But like it was just a really simple interaction. Some guy came up to me in Destiny and was like, "Hey man, I'm doing this mission. You want to come with me and be on my strike team?" I was like, "Absolutely, let's do this." And so I just went on to do his mission. We talked and like, you know, we're like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of that." And he was like, "Nice job, man. You too." It was like the most friendliest interaction I've ever had. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna add you as a friend. I'll get back to you whenever I do another strike." And I was like, "Okay." So yeah, I mean, really positive experience that like can only be experienced like in this new era of like online gaming, and like couch multiplayer, you know, is a different level of camaraderie, which, you know, but you get a really cool experience on Destiny. I think like just having like just running around doing my own thing and then running into someone was just a really cool thing. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I know like a lot of people are like really mad. They get really mad at like things that rely too heavily on DLC and like future content. And that's really understandable. I understand that, like, to feel like you're playing a game and then the developers put up a wall that you just hit and it says that's all we're going to, like, it feels less of an ending and more of this is all we're giving you now, which
It's like a paywall.
Yeah, like a paywall, pretty much. And then like, okay, and maybe in a couple months you'll be able to pay $14.99 and it'll open up more, and then after several months open up more. That's really, for me, all depends on the content. Like the content for me right now, it's lasting me a good while. Like a lot of people like hit the wall in like a few days. Like it's taken me weeks. So being a more casual player, I guess, than most, like it that works for me. If I'm loving the world that I'm in and I hit that wall and say like, all right, I'm going to stop and play other things, and then I'll come back in a month and then the game will open up, I'll be willing to pay $15 for like an expansion of the thing that I love. I mean, that works for me, but I do understand like how the hardcore would really just kind of be hit by that in the wrong way. Yeah, we talked a lot about Destiny, sorry.
There goes our game segment for the evening. Maybe we should just skip ahead. Changing the format.
It just seems to flood the news, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, I think the fact that people are talking about it, I think that really does mean that, wow, there is a lot of fun to be had in this game. And like I think a lot of people even playing it, like if they're disappointed in it, they see potential, not so much this is a sucky game. I haven't really heard anyone say that like this game's like a piece of crap. Nowhere close. They just feel like it's not what they wanted out of it. In like, I don't know. But
well, to jump ahead, the Bungie reported that the average gaming session during the weekdays was 3 hours per person, and weekends was 4.5 per person. So like basically, if you're getting on it and playing it, the average person plays 3 hours, and that's like, and then they get off. And I know you said something about, Jordan, you played a lot this weekend, you played some during the week, and I mean, I'm sure all those numbers, of course, it fluctuates, but it seems to me like the game it's vast, and it's a game that's time consuming, but you forget about time when you're playing it, obviously.
Yeah, I'd say that.
It's a time-consuming game. I mean, from going from one thing to having to go back to the tower to do something, to go back to the Vanguard. Like, I don't know. I feel like long ago there was like this idea that we would get rid of loading screens, and honestly, I just feel like we've increased the number of loading screens.
Yeah, because that's
Not
pretty
just
much
Destiny. I mean, all games really, but especially Destiny.
because all that ship stuff really is just
Yeah.
a loading screen being hid by a pretty screen of your ship going to another planet or flying through a wormhole, which, you know, it does sometimes. It's longer than others, but yeah, I mean, shoot.
And then if you hit those non-respawn areas,
Yeah.
oh goodness.
Oh yeah.
Can
You
really
get
take some
consumed
time
by
up.
the darkness.
Oh man.
Goodness. But
Sounds
Joe,
terrible.
I mean, you should. I think you would have a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I'm not a first-person shooter guy, and I know you're not. And I know there's some first-person shooters like this out there, like Borderlands, and I did play Borderlands too. And this game just resonates with me in just way more of a way. It just plays so well. Like, just playing it, I just such great control. I'd say I completely recommend that you get it. We can be on a strike team together. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I think you would
maybe
enjoy it.
it's just that I'm more of the type of guy, you know, I want like a game that takes 30 minutes or an hour, and then I can save it and, you know, pick it up next time.
And honestly,
the
if
day-
you have
the days of Skyrim and all of that, you know, like I don't necessarily always have that time for, you know, oh man, I'm going to spend, you know, 4 or 5 hours, you know, trying to increase my guy's level. Even though, I mean, the next generation game, when it comes out, I mean, even Skyrim, I've been thinking about going back and playing that some.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, I know it's not the same because it's different, but
yeah, if you have the
I'll
discipline,
probably-
you could do that. Like, you could,
yeah.
and, you know, pick it up, do a mission, because it's a mission-based game. You pick it up, you could do a mission, be like, all right, I'm good. Because honestly, I did that today because I was so itching to play it before I came, and I played a few before I watched the show, and I played like one round in the Vanguard, leveled up enough to level up, and then I put it down and left. And so, like, it just took 10 minutes. So, like, yeah, I mean, that's feasible. You can pick it up and, like, just do a strike and then put it down if you want. But it's addicting.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'll probably check it out maybe with you guys the next time I see you guys, and then maybe make because again it is $60, which I know that you guys bought it and are, you know, it's worth the money to you guys, but at the moment, you know, I'm saving my money for, you know, like I would much rather play the new Lego Batman game. I think that's gonna be pretty cool.
Batman 3?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's gonna be a pretty cool game. So we'll see. What were we gonna say, Luke?
I was just gonna tell Jordan I had leveled up to 20 playing multiplayer in Vanguard, and I actually went back and played the moon levels, and
You destroyed everything. If that was the case,
I
you just
did
blast through everything.
I started at like level 5 and 6 missions.
See, I
literally would just
Oh my
sprint
gosh.
through throwing grenades and like just spraying bullets.
Yeah, you're
My
invincible
gun was
if you're
a
in a player.
203 damage gun, and
You're just shooting. No matter what, you could shoot
was kinda-
Fallen
it was
in the
kinda
foot
fun.
at that point.
and then I got to some of the levels like was it Mars?
Venus.
I'm trying not to say anything that spoil things, but anyways, you get to
Spoiled.
some of the levels later where the guys are bigger and they're a little bit harder to kill, and I was like, whoa. And I set it to hard difficulty. I'm like, okay, this is more reality.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm kind of trying to follow along with like the level guide for the mission because I'm afraid of that
Opposite
happening.
of what I did.
Because I did get a little caught up in the Vanguard one day, and like I did a mission that was a little beneath my level, and I was like, this is a little too easy than I want. But if I do hard, it would be like outrageously hard. I'll get freaking annihilated. So I was just like, all right, settle down. I'm just gonna do the story, and then I'll do all the Vanguard and the strikes and everything.
That is one frustrating thing. Like the Vanguard, when I first unlocked it, there were like level 19 missions, and I was like a level 15, and I went in there. They're completely impossible. Like, that is one thing that's kind of interesting about Destiny. You can go back and play things that are below you, and then you can also jump ahead and play things that are almost impossible.
Yeah. It's in even in like a lower mission.
It's a weird phenomenon.
You can run into things that are scary. Like I was playing a mission and I just ran into a couple of those minotaurs or whatever, and they had like question marks on their level thing, and I was like, what the? And I tried shooting them, and it just said like resisted or something like that. And I was just like, well, I'm just gonna run away.
In the beta, I went down into a cave. I thought this was interesting. I just kept following this cave, and all of a sudden there were these guys that were just like level 25, like minotaurs and stuff. And that was in the beta, so I was a level 6.
I like stuff like that.
I was like, oh my, this is what goes bump in the night.
Anyways, I think it's obvious. Me and Luke, we really recommend Destiny. But that's I think it depends on your play style.
For right now, I think it's one of the best games that are out for sale. I'm not saying it's one of the best games ever or anything like that. It's just, for right now, it's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent game compared to anything else that's out.
The
In this
outweighs.
genre. I mean, you're not comparing it to Madden or something. It's just, in this genre, it's a fun game.
Like, if there's a game that has a bunch of flaws, but it has the best shooting controls I've ever played with, it's really hard for me not to, not hard to not recommend that, and it has amazing visuals and just fun to be had. So yeah, I mean, anyways, let's Destiny intro.
Anyways, the last thing, I only had 2 things this week, and the last one was me and Bethany had free tickets to the movie theater, so we went to see Let's Be Cops because I thought it looked funny. Man. It was funny. It wasn't what I thought it would be. I really thought it would just be like a goof fest. Just like constant goofiness, and it wasn't. I mean, there was a little bit more of a story, and in some parts it seemed like it got a little more serious than maybe the slapstick that I thought it would be, but it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't all that I had cooked it up to be. I really started to get excited when I saw the trailer for it, and so yeah, I really wanted to see it, but yeah, it left me a little bit wanting, so...
Not that great, huh? I haven't seen it yet, so
it was all right.
I'll see it at some point, probably. It's a fun premise. It's too bad it didn't live up to
good cast.
The promise of the premise. I mean, that's pretty cool. But anyways, moving on. I'll talk about what I've been playing. I talked about Destiny already, so I'm not going to talk any more about that in the entire podcast. Season 1. I was going to actually talk about this last week, but I think I just had a lot to talk about. I finished Leftover Season 1. Just ended a few weeks ago. It ended while I was gone on vacation. And yeah, it gets really good towards the end. It's a very ambiguous ending. I will give it that. But that's the nature of the show. I mean, what do I expect? And I am used to watching like Lost. So being from Damon Lindelof, one of the writers of Lost, hey, what do I expect? But yeah, it was really good, man. That main actor, Justin Theroux, he's good. He is a very good actor, and there's a lot of good acting stuff. Just a lot of good filming there, a lot of good film work. It's just really well done, well done show. Especially like I'd say the last stretch of that season, the last 3 episodes, like hit it out of the park. If there's like any episodes that are like, not so much, but those 3 episodes at the end are really good, really bring it home. Not to spoil anything, but there is a flashback episode. Which it's 100% flashback. That episode is wonderful, really good. Lastly, so are you guys? Are you guys like chick flicks ever?
No,
Luke.
I only watch those if I'm with a woman. So,
all right.
There's some I like. There's a certain one that that is my kryptonite.
Which one?
The Bachelor.
Oh yeah, that's I
love that movie.
We watched that together, I think, as two men. Actually, we were boys. 2 boys watching that movie. Two fellas.
Is that the one with Chris O'Donnell?
Yeah.
Chris O'Donnell.
Oh man.
Yep. Classic. Robin himself.
All the brides running through San Francisco.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That's a fun movie. I like that movie. I watched a couple nights ago Music and Lyrics. It's a rom-com with Hugh Grant and Drew Barrymore. That's a good movie.
Oh yes, definitely seen that one.
You seen it? What did you think of that?
I think it was like it's been a long time, so I hate to give it a hasty F, but like
Goodness gracious.
I remember it had like a really catchy song in it, right?
Yeah, because like half the movie is kind of it's a love story, but the other half is kind of a comedy about a struggling has-been musician, and so like there's a big musical element, and it's not a musical, but there's like this whole theme of like songwriting and
forget the song that he sings, but here's the reason why I don't want to be too hasty. Is it's my mom. Okay, she had it and she was watching it, and usually when my mom is watching something, it's terrible. So I very rarely like give anything the benefit of the doubt, or even give it a I don't know, like
poor mom.
Yeah,
you put your mom under the bus a lot on this podcast. Usually,
no,
terrible.
I don't.
What was the last show you were talking about? And you're like, oh, my mom likes that. And you're
Well,
like,
yeah,
I
if
don't
my
know
mom
that.
likes it, it's typically it might be kind of like quirky and not really good in my
I'm
personal
gonna
opinion.
tell your mom. You're gonna get in trouble.
Go ahead.
All right,
She
fine.
knows.
I will. It's a good movie. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure. The fact that I think Hugh Grant's pretty good. I at first I was like, I don't like Hugh Grant, but because he was like associated. He's like, oh, he's just a British charm. Like he does the same thing, but he's good. I mean, like I remember back in the day, I really liked this movie. I saw it a bunch of times because it was on HBO a lot. About a Boy. I haven't seen it in a long time, and me and Amber are gonna watch it tonight on HBO Go. So yeah, I'll probably be talking about it next week. But yeah. Anyways, that's me, Joe. Go.
I am one episode away from completing the first season of Blacklist, and you guys should watch it. I think it's really good. I think they did a really good job.
Good acting?
What?
Good acting?
I think it's good acting.
Yeah.
I think that the main characters are good. I mean, of course, there's occasionally like some nobody in it that's like, oh yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, it has a couple of cool like cast members from other TV shows. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it has like some older actors in it and some people that you would recognize. And then James Spader, I don't think I've really ever watched something that I fully liked him in a lot. Like even The Office, I didn't really like his character in that, but he plays his part. His part in this show is excellent.
He's quite
does
good.
fantastic.
I've seen a little bit of him, and you're like, seems like a good performance to me. So
yes, yeah, definitely. I highly suggest it. Give it a lot of thumbs up. I have my nephews over, so basically most of my viewing this weekend from Friday to Sunday was either Marvel's superheroes, the game. We played like a couple hours each day, spread out. You don't want to give the kid unlimited time on a console. He's like 5, but he's actually like, I mean, basically I just let him play by himself for most of it, and like he's really good. I was like kind of shocked at like how a 5-year-old. I guess I don't remember being that good at a video game when I was 5.
When did you get your first video game?
I think it was the Nintendo 64, and I was like 11 or 12. So, yeah. Again, he's just blown away by it. Like he loves it. He loves all the superheroes, and he like is remembering their names. So that makes me really happy.
Yes,
and
mold
then my
his
other-
mind into a
and then-
a nerdy shape.
Exactly. And then my other 2 nephews, his brothers, they'll sit there and watch him play it because they like the Marvel characters, which is really cool. A big thing that we did a little bit was Netflix, but mostly kids shows when we were with them, like The 3 Little Pigs. One show we watched Jungle Book, which isn't a kid show. We watched The Incredibles, which isn't on there either, I don't think. I meant not kid show, but Netflix. And then we watched like Iron Man, a cartoon on Netflix, Avengers Assemble on Netflix, like a few of those, that are on there.
How much of that have you watched? Did you like watch most of the season?
I've never watched. I haven't watched all of it. Like most of it, I've never watched before. So it kind of was like, this is cool. A lot of it's newer, I think.
Yeah, like
think within
the Avengers Assembled is newer, but there was a show before called I think it was just Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes. I watched the first season of that, but I haven't watched
Well,
beyond.
I watched some of that. There's like an Avengers Lego actual movie, like a 30-minute movie, and they really like that. They think Loki's pretty funny. So we watched that with them. The Three Little Pigs, which is like a Disney thing with the Bad Wolf or whatever.
Classic.
They love that. And then Little Mermaid, of course.
You guys watched a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had them from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we watched a little bit in the morning and watched a little bit at night. Basically how we did it.
Nice.
Yeah. And I did see a movie. It took me like 3 or 4 nights to watch it it took me 3 nights to watch it because it was longer and I haven't had much time. Have you guys, either of you, seen Moonrise Kingdom?
No, really wanted to see it, and that was what the
MK
on your list was. That's I thought it was Mortal Kombat, but
no. Moonrise Kingdom. It is a I think it's Wes what's his name? Wes Anderson movie. And it is actually, I really liked it. Like, really liked it. It's got Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, Bill Murray in it, as basically the like well-known guys, and then it has a bunch of like little like kids. But it is like highly entertaining. It's kind of like I would say it's kind of like a darker comedy. It's very much like the
all of his Wes Anderson's other movies that are like whimsical but kind of dark too.
Yeah, like Royal Tenenbaums and what else did he? Life Aquatic. He had a few.
Yeah, recently I think it was the
Budapest.
Grand Budapest.
Well, he wrote that, I think.
It was very good.
Anyways, he directs and writes a lot of his stuff, and you know what? Like, I would see it. I would check it out. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I've heard nothing but praise for that movie. So
yeah, no, definitely check it out. It's definitely weird. Like, you have to go in. Like, I went into it knowing I had seen stuff, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be weird, and it was very weird, but it was also kind of humorous, and I laughed a lot. So definitely check that one out. But that's pretty much all I've been kind of watching. I've got a lot of stuff recorded, as I was saying earlier, and I'll be trying to like kind of watch a few new things coming up. A show that I'm interested to see, it's like a little sitcom 30-minute show, is that show Blackish. Comes on tonight.
What's that?
With it's got Lawrence, I think it's Lawrence Fishburne in it.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah,
I forget the other guy's name. It looks pretty hilarious.
It's a comedy?
Check it out. Yeah, it's a comedy. It's like a 20-minute comedy thing.
Oh.
We'll see.
It'll be interesting seeing
goes.
him in a comedy.
Yeah.
For kind of a change when he's not. I mean, other than Cowboy Curtis, of course, from Pee-wee's Big Playhouse.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's a throwback. All right, so you guys want to move on to some news?
Yeah, we have a little bit. We actually have like kind of a shorter like list of things, you know.
It's all superhero stuff, though. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fine. I'm good with that. That we had an episode a couple weeks ago that was completely void of superhero stuff. So hey,
it's very sad.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, we talked about last week. We had more other things.
We did. Let's not pretend we don't love superhero stuff. Bryan Singer is back to direct X-Men Apocalypse. It's kind of.
I thought that was already finalized. I know the reports just came out this week that he's signed on to do it. I mean, I thought he was already doing it.
It's something that they wanted, something everybody wanted, but the fact of the matter is he had a lot of legal issues. But I don't even want to go into that. Just a lot of messed up stuff. Whether or not they apparently, I think what happened was the charges the guy was putting against him, he dropped them. That happened a while ago. But I think what happened was the studio wanted to basically look into it themselves, make sure everything was squeaky clean or whatever. I don't know, but whatever. And they basically everything's clear for him. He's fine. And so, according to these people, so they're going to go ahead and clear him to do the movie. So yeah, because like it was kind of like a weird thing. It came out in a really bad time, like a few weeks before Days of Future Past came out. All this legal stuff came out for him. So I mean, it didn't really seem to hurt the movie, I don't think, but whatever. It's official now that he's going to direct this. And also about this, apparently they're going to. This is what I wanted, and this is something I think a lot of people assumed if they were going to put Cyclops and Storm and who else was it? Jean Grey in it. They were going to recast them as younger people because it's like the 80s, and so they're looking to recast Cyclops, Storm, and Jean, which good. I'm looking forward to having an X-Men movie where Cyclops isn't either captured for the most of the movie or just gone or dead. So, yay. Good.
My question is, will Charles Xavier be bald?
He said that, I think James McAvoy has said that that's what he wants, and that's what he's wanting for this next one. So it's looking good for that, for a bald Xavier. I mean, I felt like this. I'm not gonna go into it in spoilers or anything, but I feel like in Days of Future Past, the setup was there for him to go bald. You know what I mean? Like, because he was it's whatever. He was taking a drug in that movie.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the setup should have been right there for that to be a side effect. And maybe they're still going to use that. Who knows? But I feel like him going bald in that movie should have been the natural choice, and like especially with him having like long hair, I think it would be a really good like crazy transition to see someone with so much hair just lose it throughout the movie. But yeah, whatever.
Maybe he just has the top.
Exactly.
He has like the top bald, and the rest is like really long. It's kind of like the Friar Tuck.
Oh gosh.
Oh Lord.
Which is definitely the best look.
Of course.
When I saw that Bryan Singer had when I was reading the article about him signing the deal, I clicked on his name was highlighted or whatever, and I had completely forgotten that he was the executive producer of one of my favorite shows, House MD.
Oh really?
He was the executive producer for 175 episodes. So,
I didn't know that. Wow, that's a lot.
I didn't know that either. I mean, I know that it's executive producer. I mean, whatever. But when you're tied with that many episodes, I feel like you probably have a little bit more to do with it than your typical executive producer, or at least I'm assuming that. But I thought that was really cool. I like him. I thought I think he did a very good job with Days of Future Past. And we'll just have to see. I liked First Class. I think did he direct that or produce that?
He was a producer. It was Matthew Vaughn who directed First Class. He directed X-Men 1 and X-Men 2.
Okay, that's right.
And he's not a
Superman
director.
Returns, right?
Superman Returns.
Okay.
He's not a director that's untouchable. He's done some bad movies like Jack the Giant Slayer and stuff like that. But this is clearly a franchise and a world that he just gets. I mean, a little bit. It wasn't good. I'll just tell you that.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. That's one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
That's ridiculously not true. Bad, but jeez.
Fair enough.
Roberto Orci has left the Power Rangers movie project to focus solely on Star Trek 3 because he's directing Star Trek 3, and so that's kind of quick, right? He just signed on to be he was an executive producer of Power Rangers, and it's not, I don't know, I guess it still has its writers from the X-Men First Class crew. I guess they're still on board, but they need to still kind of work on finding their team. But I don't know.
We'll see, because it's always bad when you have executive producers falling out of projects. I know that he has a good reason. He wants to work on another one. I get that, but does that mean that he doesn't like the way they're going with Power Rangers, and he's like, oh crap, this is going to be a debacle. I'm going to go to something that probably won't be a debacle.
It's possible, but Star Trek 3 is his first directing gig. That's the first time he's directed anything. So, I mean, I wouldn't blame the guy for wanting to have more of a focus on that project, just because it's gonna be a bigger project. I mean, it's possible that Paramount has maybe spoken to him about it. Who knows? But either way, I can't really blame him for kind of wanting to shift his focus. Next, a little bit, kind of big news. They have not yet greenlit, but they are basically at the point where they want to greenlight this movie. Suicide Squad. You guys know about Suicide Squad?
Oh
No, I do not know this.
well, this is. I'm annoyed by this. Just because
All right.
Maleficent did well doesn't mean you need to start doing this. But continue, Jordan.
What does? Why do you think Maleficent has something to do with this?
Now they greenlit darker superhero movies. Isn't the Suicide Squad? They're pretty dark, right?
Yeah, they're basically a team. For those people listening who don't know, it's a DC property of a team of villains. Basically, they're usually incarcerated in prison, and they are sent on missions, usually by Amanda Waller, to reduce their sentence. And these aren't villains that are like A-listers, like the Joker or Lex Luthor or anything like that. They're usually kind of like C to D-list villains.
They're like villains, basically.
Yeah, they're villains, and they're sent on these missions. They have like chips implanted into their head, and if they don't cooperate, they
So that was the same
get the axe.
group in that last full animated movie.
Yeah, we watched that
Was it
together actually. Arkham Assault on Arkham. Yeah, and that was a pretty good cartoon. That pretty much that's the Suicide Squad, and also they appear in Arrow a few times.
Which
I just remember.
they are. There's rumors that they're going to be in the TV show. Like they're starting it this year. They're gonna,
Yeah,
which they already have plans for next year, of course. But I don't
which
know,
is
it's
kind of
just-
strange.
Yeah,
Because
I'm not 100% on board with this move.
honestly, I'm not a big fan of villain movies, just because I feel like, as we'll talk about later with Gotham, that sometimes when you get like the side characters, a movie, I think it like makes you like itch for the hero, the person you want to like see come on board. But honestly, with Suicide Squad, I feel like if you're going to do a villain movie, I feel like this is a good one to do, because I feel like whoever does it can kind of do their own style with it, and I'll just be like a one shot story that doesn't have to affect the rest of the universe. Whereas the Sinister Six, I'm not really sure what they would do, because I don't know if it's going to be just their origin or whatever, but with Suicide Squad, you pretty much know it's going to be them being sent on a mission, and it's going to be it could be like a heist movie, it could be something like that, and that could be fun. Like if it's something like Assault on Arkham, where it's just them going on one mission, that could be a fun movie. It's been reported that Warner Brothers and DC want to start thinking about doing lower budget superhero movies. Like not everything has to be as big as like Dawn of Justice and stuff.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
yeah,
That does seem like an interesting concept to make an entire movie out of.
yeah,
I'm not sure how that'll turn out.
yeah. Me either.
I'm skeptical.
And it hasn't been greenlit yet. They're looking at the director they want. I forgot his name, but it's the director of the guy who's doing Fury, and he's interested as well. And so it's all just a matter of this project getting
Like
greenlit.
Is it Finch or something, or no? I'm way off.
David Fincher.
No, it's not him.
Told
Look
you
it
I
up.
was way off.
Tell me later. But yeah, not greenlit yet, but they want to greenlight it, so they're interested in. I think it's funny, like watching that animated movie. It kind of feels sometimes like Warner Brothers will put out certain animated movies to kind of put their feelers out, to be like, all right, how do people feel about this? And like, cause like this is a theory. This might not be true, but I think they did that with Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman came out with a DC animated movie, and people give the animated studio from DC so much praise, which they deserve. I think they've done a lot of great stuff, but like no one's seen the Wonder Woman movie, and apparently it's really good. It's there. I haven't seen it, and so like I feel like maybe that's something where they're like, see, no one saw the Wonder Woman cartoon. What makes you think they're gonna? Yeah, I don't know, but who knows? Because I think it would be foolish to think they don't look at the success of the things they put out in the visual medium, like in TV shows. See how they respond to the Suicide Squad on Arrow. Oh, let's see how they respond to the Suicide Squad in this animated movie. And so
I feel like that's like two fingers on the heartbeat of the hardcore comic, hero universe right there.
Yeah.
Guys who are, guys and girls, whoever, the audience who is really passionate about those characters is probably watching all of those animated features. I'm not, but people who are more passionate about it than I am are watching that. I mean, like you are. You and Carrie keep up with that pretty closely.
Yeah.
So
And you
because
guys
of that,
don't
I
watch
feel
them
like
all,
it
but you
skews-
try to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, that skews the numbers though, because if you just have hardcore people watching it, I mean, how do you get a real feel for?
I'm not saying that that's what you would base it completely off of, but then you would know what those people that would kind of be like a good knowing what those people would be interested in.
Yeah, that's where you
it's
start.
It's kind of
I
like
think.
let's go back to like was it Paramount that did G.I. Joe: Rise of the Cobra? They did
Yeah,
G.I. Joe
it's Paramount.
Well, they did like a viewing of it, and then like it got such poor things that got moved in a complete year, and they blamed it on we're going to get 3D better in it, is what they said.
And they really
like,
didn't improve it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, like, what did they do? They had to reshoot stuff or something. Like, I mean, what did they even do? I mean, look,
I have no idea.
terrible.
The movie was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah,
I feel like we
superhero
need to
movies
have,
are
like-
everywhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's everywhere. I mean, just like I feel like we're getting an announcement like every week of all the superhero stuff coming out. Like last week we talked about the TV shows, Teen Titans and Wonder Woman, all that stuff, and now we have like 3 new superhero properties coming on TV this month. No, this next coming month with Gotham and Constantine and the Flash and Arrow's coming back, and so is Agents of Shield and Agent Carter. It's
you got 3 new ones, 2 old ones, and then you've got a miniseries coming later this fall.
yeah, it's a lot.
It feels like gold rush mentality to me. Like, it almost reminds me of when like the iPhone and iPad like App Store came out, and it was just like bum rushed with apps, and I mean there was just so much junkware out there in the App Store, and I hope it doesn't become more of that. I mean, I feel like it really is. Like, I'm excited to see Gotham, but it just seems like there's so many shows that are just doing small twists. And not to pick on Gotham, I really don't mean that, because I really am looking forward to seeing it. I know you guys have already seen it. I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I just feel like there's going to be a lot of these shows like this that are going to come out, little twists. It's just like, can we get our piece of the pie? And it's just going to be a fragmented universe, and it just seems like it's going to be more and more of that. DC has kind of like shown the world how much billions of dollars you can make off these properties, and they're like, ooh, we can get our small piece of the pie by doing this and that. And I don't know. It worries me when so many of these properties are being put out there. Just little twists and Suicide Squad. Let's pick every little thing that's ever happened in the comic universe and make a mini series on it.
Yeah. At this point, like DC, they have a lot to prove, because Marvel, they've proven it. They're like, all right, here we are, and everyone loves it. And so like with DC, like you kind of like at this point, it's good to see content, because before it was a barren wasteland. We just had Arrow and Man of Steel, pretty much, and now it's kind of almost the fear that they're throwing everything to the wall to see what sticks, which really is the fear. But we'll see, especially when there's so many different continuities and so many different networks. It feels like a lot of it's less cohesive and less unified and less under control, basically.
Well,
so
surprisingly, they own all those networks, though. So
they do own TNT, which Titan is going to. They own part of both CW and CBS. So I don't know.
No, NBC.
NBC. Oh,
Yeah.
my man. And CBS,
wait,
right?
we're talking about Constantine's on NBC.
Yeah, and Supergirl is coming to CBS.
Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot.
Got greenlit. We were talking about it last week, but we're skipping ahead to TV. Let's finish up.
One thing.
Breaking news.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Breaking
Luke,
news.
you were
I
gonna
forgot
say-
to add this. I know I just added it in the middle of our podcast, but did you guys read the article called "Messy and Fiery" this morning?
No, fill us in.
Messy and
What was it on?
Fiery. It's an interview with Oscar Isaac, who is a star in the upcoming Star Wars Episode 7 movie.
Love that guy.
He is with he was an inside Llewyn Davis.
Inside
is that
Llewyn
the-
Davis.
Yes. Anyways, he has a quote, and I quote, "There's a lot of enthusiasm, and it's being done with a lot of heart." He's talking about J.J. Abrams. there's nothing cynical about the way we're doing this, even in the way Abrams is shooting it. He's shooting on film and actually building all the sets. So you've got hundreds of stormtroopers or whatever and hundreds of extras and all the ships. You actually see it. It's all real. Everyone can interact with the world. It's kind of like, that's the end of the quote. I was like, okay, I just increased my anticipation for this movie by, it might have doubled it, to be honest with you guys, because I was so turned off by the CGI used in the first three for the prequels. I'm really excited on hearing this, and there's a bunch of pictures that have been released of like these aircraft that have been built, X-wings and stuff like that. To read that, what do you guys think? I know that J.J. Abrams, even in Star Trek, he used special effects. Don't get me wrong, but he did do a lot of the action, as un-CGI'd as possible. You know what I mean? What do you guys think?
I'm glad you're coming around, Joe, but I've kind of had faith from the beginning. I love J.J. Abrams' film style. I mean, like, he's always, like, he's used CGI in a very tasteful way, I think, in most of his movies. And, like, Super 8, like...
Super 8, that's what I was going to say.
It's, like, a lot of that, just practical, big sets. Like, even that, like, crazy train explosion. Yeah, there was some CGI, but a lot of that is done practically. It's just, he's...
Well,
I think he's just a very tasteful director.
I get that, but it's a Disney movie. Let's not forget that. And what have the last few blockbuster Disney movies, outside of the Marvel Studios franchises, what have the last few Disney movies looked like? They've looked like a CGI, like, just...
Yeah, they've been CGI extravaganzas. But this is something
I think but this quote made me happy. I just wanted to share it with all of our listeners, whoever they are.
I think it's a little unfair to just say that it's a Disney film, so it's going to be a Disney movie. I mean, Disney is just so big now. It's like, I don't know. It's just because the name's behind it. I mean, I just don't think that means a lot anymore. There's just so many thousands and hundreds of thousands of people behind Disney.
I completely agree. I feel like we've been learning this. When Disney bought Marvel, people freaked out. We were like, okay, we're going to get a Disney-fied Marvel. And, like, it's been the opposite. Like, I feel like Disney has given me, like, this Marvel Studios almost. I'm sure they have their hands in some things. But when it comes to these films, I think they're giving them pretty much free reign. They're taking chances on smaller directors like the Russo brothers for Captain America 2. And, like, and that was, like, one of their more adult Marvel movies, and it's like I think they're doing a really good job at loosening the reins, and I feel like they're doing it with Star Wars too. I mean, like, the fact that Rian Johnson's going to be the one doing episode 8 and 9, that's pretty awesome. I mean, like, that's not a director you'd think, oh, Disney's going to grab him, because no, he's a pretty serious and adult director that's not like just a kind of a cash cow director. I mean, like, if they got something like Jon Favreau, not to diss Jon Favreau because I think he's a fine director for the most part, but, like, if it was something like that, you'd be like, okay, who knows? But I don't know. It's pretty good signs. Yeah. Anyways.
So television news.
Well, we have trailer talk, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Quickly, the thing earlier I was saying that I'd seen something on TV that I hadn't seen before was a pretty lengthy teaser for The Flash. So I saw that earlier, just watching something random on
teased?
TV.
Oh.
And I was very excited. I really liked the teaser. Pretty cool.
It tickled your fancy?
Have you guys seen it?
I've been staying away.
I mean,
How dare you?
I don't know. I don't think this is something you need to stay away from, but I mean, that's completely up to you.
It's mainly because it's so soon. I'm just like
him running.
I'm really excited. I'm super excited. I've been super excited for the Flash. I'm sold on that universe. Arrow sold me, so I'm super excited. Trailer talk.
Yeah.
So
first up, we've got a new trailer for Kingsman: The Secret Service, which is a movie that got bumped to February. I think it was supposed to be released. What was it? And I think it was sometime this past summer. I want to say.
It went the way of Jupiter Ascending?
Yeah, basically.
Wow. How about that?
It's trailer 2. I'm not really sure where to find it, but go watch it so you can watch Colin Firth kick people's teeth out.
All right. Go watch it.
I don't know if I've ever seen Colin Firth in like an action role. I mean, can you name one?
No.
The Kingsman.
The Railwayman?
I really don't think Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy counts at all. No, it doesn't count. No, I haven't seen it. But have you guys seen the Avengers? Not talking about the 2012 Marvel superhero blowout.
I have.
The 90s movie that's based on the TV show. Ray Fiennes and with Thurman. Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, yeah.
This movie looks like that, except fun.
I hear you. Except, is Samuel L. Jackson going to be making a weapon that will change the weather? I don't think so.
He doesn't dress up like a bear either.
He's going to send his lady who has swords for legs, and she's going to do flips and cut people in half.
A little bit of Planet Terror action going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna wait. I'm hoping that maybe there's one more little trailer that'll come out, and it looks like it'll be an entertaining movie. I think it's got a bunch of people that I kind of like, so I think I'll be entertained.
Yeah, I've been sold on this one from the start. Luke, what do you think of this one?
I'm excited. It looks like an exhilarating time.
An exhilarating time.
Exhilarating.
The times will be exhilarated. That doesn't make any sense.
Hopefully the next trailer is as good as that. Next movie, Predestination with Ethan Hawke. Actually, I haven't seen this trailer. I know that there is a trailer on IMDb. I don't know where else you can find it. But go watch it and come right back.
All right. Let's go. So
I think it looks interesting. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we got kind of a mix between Looper and Minority Report and stuff.
Daybreakers.
Daybreakers. Oh yeah, it's from the director of Daybreakers, which
Ethan Hawke. Wow, he looks like he plays quite a number of different characters in one movie, but the same person kind of thing. I'll be very interested to see more on this movie. Read more about it. And when is it coming out? Did it say at the end?
January.
Really? Cool. I have something to see in January now.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's
finally we have Big Eyes.
Big Eyes,
which is a movie starring, I think it's Rachel McAdams. Is that correct?
Amy Adams.
She has kind of big eyes.
I guess. Anyways, I know for a fact there is a trailer on IMDb, but go wherever you want to go for the Big Eyes trailer.
Big Eyes trailer. Let's do it. Huh. So, what do you guys think?
I mean, trailer looked pretty cool. It's definitely a Oscar season movie, if I might say so myself. Kind of like
Indeed.
It's your typical, this has 2 or 3 guys in it who are going to be very good. They're going to have good roles. Christopher Waltz, always a pleasure to watch. And I don't know what it is like, but Amy
Amy Adams.
Amy McAdams. Amy
McAdams. Rachel McAdams mixed with Amy Adams.
How in the world do I keep doing that? But she's kind of been on a roll lately, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Hustler,
she has been for a while.
And The Fighter.
Yeah, and
what else? Her.
She's just been in a lot of really good movies. She has a really good. She picks really good movies. I mean, she's been in a lot of Academy Award-winning movies.
Probably a good agent.
Yeah,
well,
yeah, probably.
And she's also she's a pretty good actress, though. I noticed that about American Hustle. She did a really good job.
She's great. She's very good.
So
well-rounded.
I'll definitely be checking this out.
Thing that's important to notice about this is a Tim Burton movie. This is Tim Burton, I think, reining it in a little bit, and he's doing something very different here.
Yeah,
still
that's
quirky.
True.
Still quirky. Makes the 60s look like or 50s or whatever look like a magical time. But still,
it's not Frankenweenie.
we are not in a claymation or a CGI land, and I don't see Tim Burton anywhere or
We're not
Bonham Carter.
a president hunting vampires.
Yeah, there's nothing insane going on from the looks of it, and it's based on a true story. This is something we don't see from Tim Burton, at least not often. So that's really cool.
Maybe he's got a haircut and branched out some.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it at some point. All right, that does it for our movie news section.
Basically, our movie news today and what we've been watching took up our whole episode because there's not much left. Like we've almost talked about everything that we're about to talk about. We don't have much more to say.
Oh yeah? Well, let's find out in our TV news. So, True Detective, have you guys seen any of that?
No, but I know the first season was very gritty, and so it's interesting to me that two people they picked up for the second season are Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. I mean,
like that's who you're gonna go with.
Yeah, I mean, he's done some dramatic roles.
Like, name one.
I'll name two. He was in that flopped version of Psycho. He played Norman Bates. And also...
Name three.
I don't have three, I'm sorry. I'm sure there is another one, though. And he was also the cop in the movie The Cell. The movie with Jennifer Lopez goes into the mind of a serial killer or whatever. So, there's a couple. But, I don't know. We'll see. He could be good. I mean, neither of those movies were particularly good, and he didn't do a particularly good part in either. But I don't think he's a bad actor. He has potential, and Colin Farrell has kind of been a little like hit or miss. I don't know. I've never been a huge Colin Farrell fan. I'm gonna be honest here.
The premise of the first one. You guys know anything about True Detective?
I saw the first episode.
Okay. Well, the premise
season.
of the first one is basically they're hunting a serial killer for like 17 years.
Huh.
The first season is, I mean, that's it. It's called like Man is the Cruelest Animal. I think it's like the first poster that I ever saw, and it's like really dark. So I just don't. I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if I really buy it at all. I don't even know if I can watch Vince Vaughn in this.
I could. We'll see. I'm definitely gonna give him a chance. See what he's got. I think he's like, from what I've seen in his dramatic roles, I think he's definitely capable of doing something very dramatic and very good. But I just haven't seen it yet. You know, kind of when you see that in an actor, like, you know that he's capable of doing something like that. You know, like even with Jim Carrey, I feel like he's kind of went the depths of what he's able to do dramatically, which is good. He's able to pull off dramatic roles and do it very well. But I feel like I don't see him going deeper than that. I don't see him doing anything Oscar nominated. It sounds unfair. I love Jim Carrey, but I just don't see it. I feel like he's done all he can do when it comes to his dramatic roles. But I feel like Vince Vaughn has a lot more to show when it comes to that. I'm not a huge Vince Vaughn fan, but I feel like he could do something interesting. And Colin Farrell, no.
I want to just compare him to Matthew McConaughey for a moment.
Oh, Lord. Please try.
Okay. Well, no. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, so 3 years prior to this True Detective show, Matthew McConaughey was in Lincoln Lawyer, Killer Joe, Mud, Magic Mike, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of Wall Street. Now, whether we like those movies or not, I can think of almost all of them where he did a ridiculous job. Yeah, and he was a dark character in probably 3 or 4 of them. Lincoln Lawyer, Killer Joe, Mud was kind of on the border, Dallas Buyers Club. This is Vince Vaughn last 3 years.
Oh no.
The Watch.
All right.
Delivery Man.
Okay.
And The Internship.
Yeah.
So let's just take a moment to kind of like compare and contrast those.
Not as good.
No, let's not take a moment.
Not as good.
No. And I just
even like Woody Harrelson, it's like, well, yeah, he's very good too. So it's it's really tough.
Right. I guess I'm sort of happy that they are just doing 2 new detectives. I mean, that makes me like, okay, I can maybe hold on to a little bit and actually want to watch the first season because there's a second season now. I've only seen the first episode, and it's hard to get it. I don't have HBO Go. I think it's HBO show. I don't have HBO Go, and I can't.
Could lend you mine.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I can watch it. Anyways,
yeah, I'm interested. I'll give it a shot, and I'm going to finish season 1 eventually. Just a lot to watch. Speaking of a lot to watch,
should Luke leave the room right now, or no?
No, we're not gonna spoil anything, but we're gonna give our quick thoughts, spoiler-free thoughts, just really quickly on Gotham. Me and Joe, we've seen it, first episode. I actually saw it immediately before I came here to record, so it's fresh in my mind.
No, I watched it the other day.
What'd you think, Joe? What?
I don't know. I don't think I liked it.
Okay. Why not?
I think, and it's hard for me to not say. I'm just gonna use one word. Well, one phrase. It was full.
Yeah.
Jordan, you might understand where I'm probably going with it, and I hopefully that doesn't spoil it for Luke.
No,
I could have guessed that from the teaser I watched.
Yeah, like the problem is like it's not spoiling anything, but their introduction to these villains that we know and love from the comics and everything is very ham-fisted and heavy-handed, just right out the bat. Just they don't hold anything back. There's nothing subtle about it at all in the first bit. But that being said, I like first half of that episode I was like, oh no. But honestly, I started to really come around towards the second half of it. Like I kind of started to, like once all that pandering kind of got out of the way, I kind of got to see what the show is kind of going for more. I like the actor playing Jim Gordon. Like just right off the bat, I feel like I could like him as a character. Like I feel like he did a good job. And
I would definitely agree with you on that point. And I would I guess I have to see more. I fear for the longevity of the show, but maybe it doesn't have to be a long show. It's just like the timeline doesn't make much sense. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna technically think, okay, well Bruce is a small child in this show, which this again is not spoiling anything because you watched the preview, or anything. Well, then you have all these characters that are villains. I mean, I guess that means that no wonder Batman is like the ruler of the land because the characters are ancient by the time Batman comes around. I mean, they're all decrepit old men and women, you know? Like, I mean, seriously. I don't know. It's full. That's all I can say. And I'm hoping that it gets maybe a little bit better. I'm excited for see where it goes.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean,
but
there's a few things I do really like. I mean, I like what they're doing with Gordon, and I kind of like what they're doing with Bullock too. I mean, I thought I was gonna hate that character, which he's the character you're not supposed to like. You don't like. He's not a good person, obviously. He's not supposed to be, but I think he's interesting, which is good. And I think I could say the same thing about what they're doing with Falcone. I feel like the relationship there is interesting. It's something I'm interested to see where it goes. See, a lot of this stuff, like I'm not so much interested in the supervillains. I'm perplexed to why they throw just a quick cameo of Poison Ivy. I don't know why she's called I'm Ivy. I don't know what her name's Pamela Isley, not Ivy. It seems kind of weird that they throw her in there and call her Ivy. It's like calling Dick Grayson Robin.
I'm Robin.
Dark Knight Rises. But but yeah, your rule on the whole, you give television shows a long time before you completely give up on them, right? You give them like a season.
I usually give them a season unless they just become like horrid, and then it's like, oh well, see you later. But it did perform fairly well viewer wise, so that was good. It did have to go up against Big Bang Theory, which is basically I think one of the highest rated shows on TV, like standard cable. But it did fairly well. I mean, like 8 to 9 million viewers is not like a bad thing, and that's not including the DVR numbers, which will be in this week. So
yeah, I'm not going to give up on it. I mean,
you need to watch it. try to stay current so we can actually spoil it on these episodes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give it longer than I do most shows because it's a superhero property. I'm going to do that. I mean, that's just what I'm gonna give it. I want it to be awesome, even though I wasn't quite sold on the idea.
What's gonna make it longer for me? Why I'm gonna give it longer is because, just like you said, I like the lead character.
Yeah.
Like I honestly like him, and I like the James Gordon character already. But I do like him as actor and playing it. It's not tiresome, or it's not like oh man, I can't watch another minute of this. I can watch him. So we'll see you next Monday at 8 or 9? I forget which hour it's at, but next Monday, next episode.
Just to put my 2 cents in without having seen it, I know with like the Breaking Bad, like I was so not on board when I saw the teasers and stuff for that show. Like I was so like, really, like, this show looks so dumb. They have the dad from Malcolm in the Middle having some midlife crisis? Like, really? A whole show about him? Like, is he even a good actor? But, man, like, it's such a good show, but also, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is with this show and with any of these new shows, the only thing I'm really looking for is, does the director have a vision? Does he have a real story to tell? Or is he trying to make money off of, some bigger universe?
Yeah.
And that, I think, will completely decide whether or not the show will go in a direction that people like. Is it going to be some pop culture show that's just trying to throw all these characters in? And, obviously I haven't seen it, but is it just going to throw these characters in, introduce them, and just, one-liners? And are we just going to have some thing that has no real heart, that has no real direction? There's some other shows that I don't want to make fun of that have done that, and it just frustrates me, and I don't even understand why anybody watches them anymore, because they're just pandering and going nowhere. And to me, that's all about the director / producer / writer, whoever it is that's really powering that show or movie. Do they have heart? Do they really have a story that they really want to tell? So that'll be my big question. And does it really have a story to tell? Does it really have a place to go?
Yeah.
Otherwise, just don't even put it on TV.
And it's really hard to tell sometimes from the first episode. Like Arrow, I thought it was good starting off, but it got better. It got much better, in my opinion. And by like the second season, it really just caught its stride. And I wasn't a big fan of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but from what I'm to understand, I haven't watched it, but from what I'm to understand, what I hear, it got a lot better. It kind of found the tone that it needed. Sometimes, like, I guess it takes a while for a show to sometimes find that, and hopefully it should do it by the first season. By the end of the first season, it needs to do that. And but I don't know. Here's hoping for Gotham. We have a lot more superhero shows to come.
Indeed.
All right. Moving on to gaming news.
Gaming news.
Is that the theme song? You as a robot. Gaming news
with
gaming
the trailer
news.
talk.
Yeah,
Rhythm.
It's gonna be the same thing. I just change out the words.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought Luke might find the first thing interesting.
Yeah,
I read that this morning.
I find that very interesting. I heard a little bit about this. It's nothing certain when it comes to this, but Grand Theft Auto 5, they're as we know that the new console versions are going to be coming out in November. But there's been a few...
actually, Jordan, it was this stuff was posted on Rockstar's website, but then it was taken down. Like, it was posted and then it was removed. Like, it's weird. That's what the article said. They retracted it.
Well, there's a few things about it. It's what's being said is that we could be looking at a mode in Grand Theft Auto where you can play in a kind of FPS mode, first-person shooter mode, and kind of roam around the city like that, which certainly raises a lot of questions whether or not you'd be able to do that. How limiting would that be? To what extent can you do that? Or one of the theories that might be true is that they're implementing a photo mode, which allows you to go into first-person mode to take pictures, which is a thought. And it's kind of something they've done in past, like Last of Us Remastered. They added a photo mode where people have actually used it quite a bit, and they've
Well, they had a photo mode in GTA 5 on 360
Oh, really?
and PS3. I mean, just on the camera phone.
Oh, okay.
You could take selfies, and I
Well,
thought
yeah.
it was kind of dumb, but
Yeah.
whatever. I guess it's trying to be pop.
What would you think of that, Luke? If there was like, if they made you, if they had you, gave you the ability to switch from third person to first.
I think it could be cool for, like, I can see it being neat in like multiplayer, being able to switch back and forth, because that's one thing that makes the multiplayer like shooting so difficult. You have one dot, and you're just moving it around. I mean, that's kind of the way the game is, but I can see that being cool if you were in a battle and you like if they did the camera right, where it like zoomed out, run around, and then zoomed in real quick, some kind of like a quick scope almost, like you zoom in. Because I don't want to play first person, in Grand Theft Auto, but I can see how if they could use it right to like make it easier to fire your weapon, because that can be difficult in the game.
Yeah. There's ways that it couldn't work in a few ways, like because it's a cover shooter, like you duck and cover behind things with a press of a button, and that concept doesn't really work really well with a first person mode. So I don't know if they would take that mode away or what, but who knows?
It's all about implementation.
Yeah,
if it was one of those things like Lou says, you could kind of switch in and out. If they integrated it, I think it could be a very, very cool feature added on. Because they know that Call of Duty games and Modern Warfare, all those games have done very well, and they're first-person shooters. So, maybe they're trying to like maybe they don't need to hark on anything else. They're still ridiculous.
I think it's all about like fixing a problem, like.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with it, is it? Is there a problem?
I just mean a small problem with the controls. Like if you could just make the controls better, then it's a good idea. But otherwise,
we'll see.
I like the multiplayer as it is, but I think if it could add something to multiplayer or I don't know about single player, but I feel like this is something best used in multiplayer. But I guess you'd really have to implement it across the board if you did put it in. But yeah, as long as it fixes an issue, makes things easier. Like Jordan said, every time he talks about Destiny, he mentions the controls, and that shows you how valuable it is to a gamer. If you have bad controls, you don't enjoy playing because you're thinking about, wait, how do I do that? Like you never want to have to tell yourself that during a game.
Yeah. Yeah, it should feel natural. And I mean, Grand Theft Auto controls have never been perfect.
Yeah.
But this is the best they've had them in Grand Theft Auto 5, but still not perfect. And that's kind of the trouble you run into a lot of times. It's kind of tougher, I think, with a third person shooter. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Could be cool. Joe, are you picking that one up?
We'll see. November 18th. I don't know. I'll have to play it by ear. Depends on how much cash I have on hand.
In your hand right at the moment while you're walking by a GameStop or a Best Buy.
$7.
Not going to cut it.
Almost enough.
How often does someone carry around like $50 or $60 just in?
I happen to have $64.76.
Perfect. Let's do this.
Just sometimes I just have that extra game cash in hand. Maybe I'll rent it on the Redbox.
Real quick, I wanted to talk about this. I think I'm the only fan of this franchise on the podcast, but whatever. I just wanted to talk about it because I'm a little just kind of not frustrated, but just kind of downtrodden about it. So Tokyo Game Show was last week, and a lot of people had a lot of high hopes for what Square Enix would do with maybe giving an announcement on some more Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff.
Kingdom Hearts.
Didn't happen really.
Kingdom Hearts.
Is that a new portion on the show? Time to talk about Kingdom Hearts again. But they didn't really announce anything.
Silent.
Exactly. That's pretty much all there is to do at this point. All they really announced is the director of Final Fantasy 15, this is kind of a big deal, has been moved. He's off the project of Final Fantasy 15, and he's going to work solely on Kingdom Hearts 3. So they have these two projects going at the same time. We don't know exactly how much is finished of Kingdom Hearts 3. They're saying in Final Fantasy 15 it's like 55% done, which is not a lot compared to
And he's
how
leaving
long
it to go to a different one.
Yes, that might be trouble. It might be saying, okay, we got a lot of Final Fantasy 15 going on here. We got this. Kingdom Hearts 3 needs to be worked on. We need to get that game out. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's the game I'm looking forward to. Well, for the past however long it's been since Kingdom Hearts 2's come out.
It's a fun game, I'll admit. I mean, I've never been like a big fan of it, but I'll admit, like, I played the first one, and it's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a good adventure game. I can see if they could make it, kind of up it into the new generation and just increase the size and scope and bring new enemies in. It could be a lot of fun. I could be persuaded maybe to buy it if I had a Wii. But
no, it isn't. It's not Wii.
Oh,
this is different
for all of them.
This is different now. It's been a PlayStation title. Xbox. I mean, Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, PlayStation 2. This next one is PlayStation 4
PlayStation.
and Xbox One. So they will. This is the first one that they're releasing on an Xbox console. So you can pick one up.
Yeah, I'll have to see.
At a store near you.
It could be really fun.
You'll have to watch maybe a 2-hour cutscene compilation on YouTube to catch you up on the lore, but you could totally pick one up. Have you seen any of the concept footage?
No, I have not.
No.
I'll show you some later after the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll show it. It's cool. Looks great. Looks amazing. From what
you can do
little
it by
you see.
yourself at home, listeners.
Along with us after the podcast. Show your friend the Kingdom Hearts 3 concept footage. Joe, you have a question? Do you have a question for us about PlayStation?
No, it was more of I found this out yesterday, and maybe you guys both knew this, but you don't have to have a PlayStation 4 to play PlayStation games. You just need a controller and a USB cord. Did you know that?
All right.
And
What?
a Sony 4K TV or 1080i TV. There's all you have to do is download a smart app, PlayStation Now Network, and you can stream the games and play them without a console on Sony TVs.
Huh.
This is true. This
It's
does
like a
not.
$10,000 TV.
Yep.
Maybe.
Well, no, I mean, you can. It's like I think the beginning one that they have it on is it's like a $2,000 TV.
But they're all 4K.
The most of them are 4K, and then there's a couple of the Sony Bravios that are you can do it with. But every single 4K TV has this feature, which I thought was pretty cool.
Let's be clear now, though. It's not PS4 games. You cannot stream PlayStation 4 games.
Correct. Anything on the PlayStation Now network.
Yes, and this also applies to what their PlayStation's putting out. I think later this year or early next year is their PlayStation TV.
Right.
Which was originally called the PlayStation Vita TV, which they changed the name to this PlayStation TV, and I think that's more.
They changed it to Sony Roku.
Roku. Sort of.
Sony Chromecast.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, kind of it's operates as that a lot. Does have those apps for, but it has the gaming functionality where you can play. It's actually pretty cool. You can play your Vita games because it has the card slot for Vita, and you can also play PlayStation Now games, and also you can remote play PlayStation 4 games. So that's a way you can play PlayStation 4 games. Say you have a PlayStation 4 and the TV's occupied and you want to play it in your room or whatever, you can just remote play it on that TV. So that's pretty cool. I think it's $100. I
thought it was cool.
That's reasonable. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested in that sort of thing, I think that's a good thing. I don't know. It's cool.
I won't be buying it, but I thought it was interesting.
No, personally, I have no use for it. But if you, I know I could think of people who would. So, that's a nifty little thing. I don't know if it's gonna sell, but I guess we'll find out. So, Luke, wait, Joe, do you have any games for us?
Not really this week.
Oh, forget you. What are you doing?
I mean,
You're supposed to be sitting in your lair coming up with interesting games.
You're the game master. You're supposed to come on the podcast at this time and come on with a little jester hat.
Okay.
Some goofy music's supposed to play, and you're going to ask us questions like the Riddler.
Well, I'll give you a little They're always related to the box office.
Oh my
That's the only
gosh,
thing
let's
that
just
I know
call
to play
it
games.
box office trivia time with Joe.
Wow, you're a
Box
terrible-
office
You're a douchebag.
JoJo? Oh, I don't know. No,
Anyways,
stupid.
well,
Mo
on the eve of
Joe.
Guardians of the Galaxy domestically passing Iron Man 1, and moving into sole ownership of fourth all time, and probably going to be passing Iron Man 2 very soon. I thought it would be cool to the Marvel franchise is like the most successful domestic franchise, making about $3 billion with all their films. But
Man.
what franchise has the highest average per movie? What franchise?
Harry
It can
Potter.
be anything from Harry Potter, Shrek, Star Wars, Twilight, Lord of the Rings, blah, 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 all the way down. But it's domestically. We're talking domestically.
Okay.
So go.
I still think Harry Potter. Go
Star
ahead.
Wars.
Okay.
Star Wars.
Star Wars and Harry Potter in the top 10. Any other guesses?
Lord of the Rings.
That's like 10th, I think.
Scary movie.
Oh gosh. I hope not.
No.
Saul.
Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah, that's in the top 4.
Oh, wow.
Fourth.
Huh.
Spider-Man movies average $315 million per pop.
Batman. No, that's not. I don't think that's right. Never mind. What's the answer?
Okay, third place is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow.
$319 million apiece.
Oh, Transformers.
Iron Man is number 2, $346 million apiece. And Hunger Games, number 1,
What?
with $416
Wow.
million per Hunger
What?
Games.
Goodness gracious. Only 2 movies in.
Yeah, so the third one will probably like make it a little bit lower than that, unless it goes better than that one, which it could very well. But
That's
technically
crazy.
speaking, that's the one of the best ones.
I would not have guessed that.
Me either.
But it is still cool. Marvel Cinematic Universe averages almost $300 million a film, which is fairly good. It's right there with it's like almost tied with Harry Potter.
Wow.
That's crazy. Hunger Games beating Marvel per movie.
Nutso.
Yep.
Cray,
So
cray.
that's we played a game off the
Thank
fly.
you, Joe. You can take off your jester hat now. All right, Luke, what's coming out in the theater?
So I wanted to
week.
start a new final section for our podcast called "Movies Coming This Weekend." I'll come up with a better name, but I just wanted to like have a quick thing where I could tell you guys what movies were coming out and just maybe something that you hadn't heard of that looked interesting. The Equalizer's coming out this weekend, so I think everyone's pretty much in tune with what that is and what's that about. Denzel Washington definitely looks
Killing people.
looks good. I hope it's as good as the hype is. We'll see. I think sometimes these action movies with people that we enjoy, like Denzel, can sometimes get a little overhyped, but we'll see. So yeah, and Box Trolls, this is a movie that had a trailer so long ago. I feel like a year ago at least. Like I saw a trailer for this.
But it takes so long to do that little stop animation stuff.
Yeah.
Stop animation stuff. Stop animation. Stop animation.
No, like the little like play animation.
Stop
things.
motion.
Stop motion.
A claymation.
You know what? If you make fun of me one more time, Jordan,
You know what?
I'm gonna delete you as my only friend on the PlayStation.
So Box.
Oh my God.
Anyways, Box Trolls looks interesting. Don't know if it's my cup of tea, but looks like a
That
good
is
one.
definitely a movie you rent, not see in theaters.
Good one maybe for the kids.
I loved that first trailer. Like that, you got the whole world. They just show them like making it. I thought that was a cool trailer. I'm not gonna watch it.
Ben
Ever?
Kingsley is in that. Yeah, looks interesting. And the final one is when we saw Let's Be Cops, I got to see the trailer for this, and I got pretty excited by the trailer. I don't know why, but anytime a movie comes out with like one main person is like basically the entire movie hinges around one main person, like Ali did with Will Smith. I get interested because I love seeing like actors put to their limits. And to me, anytime Lincoln is a great example, like absolutely put to their limits. Every move is analyzed. Every word that they speak has to be spoken the correct way. Their mannerisms have to change. Like, you really have to dive into a role. And Andre, formerly Andre 3000, Andre Benjamin, is playing Jimi Hendrix in a movie called Jimmy, All Is By My Side. And it looks interesting to me. It may not be one of those movies that's like, you know, my bread and butter, the stuff I like to see, action movies and hero movies, but I don't know. I'm very interested. Jimi Hendrix to me is an interesting person in history, kind of transform rock history for everyone, and so very interested to see it. It could be a flop, but I'm just interested in see how Andre does. I've always liked him. Thought he does well in comedies, and he also does well in dramas. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see. There's no way he could be taken seriously if it was still Andre 3000. So, but I mean, I recall him not being bad in like the things I saw, and so it is cool to see like, and especially like an actor who's like given a chance to do something like that, to like see something like, all right, let's see what you got. Like everyone's coming into it saying, all right, actor, let's see what you got, and so yeah, it'll be cool to see what he has.
It's being directed also by the guy who wrote and produced 12 Years a Slave. Funny enough, he did Undercover Brother and Three Kings, which is kind of interesting because it's three movies that are very different.
Huh? Yeah.
Writer, producer, and he's directing and writing this movie. So I'm very interested. Go see the trailer at least, and you may be interested in it. Could be a big role for him.
Yeah, that could be maybe. Well, I haven't seen him in something like the past few years.
Yeah.
It's probably because he's been working on this movie,
taking some lessons. Who knows? But
well, since we do this, we probably should also talk about like what's new on like Blu-ray next Tuesday, right? Like or anything like that.
Sure. Why don't you take that section?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Well, we have one of our favorite movies from the summer is coming out next Tuesday. Yeah, Transformers: Age of Extinction.
So soon. So seriously, that movie it was like a couple months ago. The movie came out in July.
It came out fast. It's like we got to get that out of theaters because it is a bomb.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's like a flash in the pan. It comes out, everyone sees it, take it away, and maybe the people who liked it will buy it while they still think of it.
But it did so much, didn't it?
It did a lot.
But it was in the foreign box office. It's still playing in theaters, and it is still probably in the foreign box office.
That's crazy.
You know.
It just isn't one of those movies that does a lot for long. Whereas Guardians has legs and actually good word of mouth, people enjoying it. Like, oh, let's see it again. Transformers, this movie kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's true.
But we saw it.
The teenagers will like it.
Exactly. They'll see it and they'll get suckered in by the trailer.
Not old enough to remember the first one.
Oh my gosh! Shut up! I don't want to hear that.
But Transformers, if you think about it, it's made like $220 million domestically. It made $100 million opening weekend. So you're talking about, it basically did nothing for the remainder of its time in theaters. It was all in the front.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it goes usually. I think with these movies, they do insane numbers at first.
Guardians of the Galaxy won 5 weekends like in a row, or 4 weekends, or whatever. Also, for the Chef is being released, a movie I haven't seen.
Jon Favreau, the guy I kind of insulted earlier.
That was the one Jared recommended for us.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to maybe pick that up or check that out in the Redbox. And Gone with the Wind on Blu-ray.
Again?
I think it's like an anniversary edition or something because, they released it. I think it's like the 75th anniversary edition. It's like a $40 15 disc set.
Oh, for crying out loud!
No, actually, I lied. It's only 4 discs.
Oh, okay. Are you serious? What in the world is gonna be on that?
Yeah, and then another one of my all-time, I would say probably top 50 movies, Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise. Movie. It's coming on the Blu-ray.
It's a fine movie.
So make sure you check out your local store, support them, so that
indeed
they can stay in business.
Yes, and send me Blu-rays in the mail so I can continue to beat Joe in the battle of the Blu-rays.
I think we should have a recount on January 1st.
What's gonna happen?
I don't know. I haven't
Christmas.
bought enough.
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Oh,
Black Friday is
man.
gonna happen.
Well, I'm not gonna be sitting on my hands on Black Friday, Joe. I'll be there too.
I'll be probably in the
Waiting.
woods
Joe's
hunting.
gonna hire me to lock you up so he can buy more.
I will lock you up and turn you into a walrus. All right.
No, no, Tusk.
Which also
Turning
we didn't even talk about
podcasters
it
into-
bombing. It bombed this weekend.
Yeah,
but that's
just-
another story.
Didn't do well. So yeah, that about does it. Real quick, this weekend / next week we will be releasing a special podcast. I'm really excited about this. This week, Lost turned 10 years old. What are you doing?
The
The
smoke
lost
monster.
sound.
Are you kidding? Oh, geez,
What?
it just sounded like going.
Sorry.
I was thinking
I was
more
trying
like
to do, you know, that epic lost sound.
Exactly. Thud. Let's just say thud. What an electric guitar.
I believe we have a special guest too, right, Jordan?
We are gonna have a
will
special
not-
guest,
Not divulge his true identity. Maybe his alter ego will.
Matthew
True
Fox.
identity.
Just kidding.
Jack. We mean.
Yes,
Don't-
he'll
don't
be
wanna
on the
tell
podcast.
people who he really is.
Then we're gonna have Andrew on. It's gonna be awesome. Be the four of us, and we're gonna basically have a retrospective, just talking about our thoughts on Lost. It's been a long time, we feel, and it's finally time for us to express our love
Years.
or hate.
We will share how obsessed
So-
we were with this show.
Absolutely.
From now until Sunday, we have to watch every episode.
I don't think that can happen, honestly.
Just quit your jobs.
Okay, well, we'll try.
Thanks for listening,
we
though.
seriously
all of
had
you
a passion for this show.
podcast listeners.
Yeah. It'll be great. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any questions about the Lost you want us to talk about, anything at all, just contact us on Facebook at facebook.com/MTG podcast, or on Twitter at MTG pod, or on Instagram at MTG podcast, or you can get us on Gmail if you want at MTG pod. But yeah, thank you.
Or you can text us.
You can text us if you know us and have
Please
our
don't do
numbers.
that.
Oh my! You can find us.
Please don't do that
And
for
come
me.
to our house at 5 a.m.
Do that for them, not me.
Thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day. We love you.
Later.
See ya.